We want to tell you guys what happened to make sure everybody understands why we are so brokenhearted about my cousin's death. It goes beyond our love for Alan. It is... So here's the story. Okay, let's start off with what happened. Alan and his two friends were standing waiting for some friends to pick them up near 90th and Birch. The police officers, listen to what I say, were riding with their lights off, approached them with their guns drawn. And then my cousin ran. There's a lot of grown men out here that will run in that situation. There's a lot of grown men and women out here that will run in that situation, no matter your race. And when he ran about 2 blocks, and when he got near a light post, he stopped. My cousin was fast. You've heard a lot of people talk about my cousin's athletic abilities. He was, and anybody who describes his athletic ability says he was fast and he was shifty. So when he heard people's voices and music in the house, and when he got near some light, he stopped. And he turned around. The police officers initially said that he was in a gunfight. They have supposed witnesses that said that he died on the porch steps of the house, shooting in the air while bullets went into his house. They have another supposed witness that said he was running down the streets, shooting randomly. What we know today, what do we know today? Today we know he never fired a firearm. Today we know he didn't die on anybody's porch. He died under a light post. They said that they rushed the police officer and my cousin to the hospital, to Highland Hospital, where he succumbed to his wounds, and the officer was stabilized. They never took my cousin to Highland Hospital. Never. But what do we know today? Today we know that his body laid there for over 4 hours. 4 hours. He laid there. So that's very different than what they've been telling us. What do we know? They initially told us that he died on the porch. The gun was found, and they admit 30 feet from his body. What they say today is that Alan turned around and pointed a gun at the police officer. If he pointed that gun at the police officer, why wasn't that gun right by his body? Why was that gun 30 feet away from his body? They continue to talk to us like we're stupid. And all they want to do is put in the media that he was on felony probation. They never called my aunt and uncle and told them that they killed my cousin. They kept the other 2 young men that was with him for over 6 hours in custody. And when they released those young men, they had the very difficult task, and our heart goes out to those 2 young men. They had the very difficult task of calling my aunt and uncle and telling him Alan was shot and killed by the police officers. We immediately started searching our phones and internet and everywhere else for whatever could be said. My aunt and uncle went to the police station. They left them in the lobby for 2 hours before anyone could come down and confirm that they shot and killed my cousin. They said I couldn't identify him. You've heard my aunt say a number of times that Alan always carried his wallet with his ID in it, a brown wallet and his ID there.
He had it that night.
And all of a sudden that ID is missing.
No, he's 18-year-old too.
They didn't want them to know. They also said that Alan shot the police officer
in the stomach.
What we know now is that the officer shot Alan 3 times. He didn't shoot him once. Everybody out here, if you know Alan, you know his build. He wasn't a tall, big guy. He was a small guy. 1 shot would have stopped him. They shot him 3 times. And the officer shot himself in the foot. It went from the stomach to the leg. Now the story is he shot himself in the foot. to the hospital. That's who was rushed to the hospital. And now, you guys understand the outrage when Chief Howard Jordan finally speaks and he says to us that he's fairly certain his officer followed proper protocol. It's ridiculous. And this is happening. How many young men have died and their families weren't able to stand up for them like we were able to stand up for Alan and say we know that wasn't him. As a matter of fact, they left our family saying he's going to call because if the suspect that died last night was in a gunfight with the police officer, that's not Alan. And he just hasn't called.
Yeah.
And now we're still left with that pain.
Okay,